Welcome to the Colorful Clipboard, where we discuss the building blocks of making dough in childcare. I'm Kate.
And I'm Carrie.
Welcome back to Colorful Clipboard, and we are so excited to be with you today. And we're going to talk about your local elementary school. Really, we're going to talk a lot about the relationships that you may want to have with different components of that elementary school, and possibly even middle and high school, depending on your community needs. But really, we're going to start with the elementary school. So, Carrie, when I say that to you, what do you think? I mean, what pops in your head?
So my first thing is being super friendly with the office staff and giving them presents.
Oh, office staff. I love, and I love presents. So, so office staff are definitely key to helping share information that you might have. When I think elementary school, I immediately think the parent-teacher organization or association. And how can you as a business support them, and how can there be a win-win situation? Because, I'm all about marketing dollars.
Yeah, well, I think both of them are marketing dollars, because the two places where people ask, oh, where do you take your kid to after school? Or I'm pregnant, where should I get on the list? They're going to ask the office staff, and they're going to ask the leaders at the PTA, PTO. That's who they're going to ask.
So how often would you suggest that somebody talks to the office staff or interacts with them? I mean, what does that look like in your head? I know what it looks like in my head, but in your head, what do you think? I mean, because I don't want people to think this is a one-time visit.
No, I mean, to me, in a normal year, in a non-COVID year, those 2 weeks before school is open, when staff are there, but the children aren't, that's the first time I go and talk to the office staff. And, I say, I'm just wanting to go over with you our pickup routine. We traditionally do pick up kids from this school, or we have 2 children who have enrolled with us who are going to be coming to this school, and I want to go over what the pickup routine is. And by talking to the office staff, you're acknowledging the fact that they know everything that goes on in the school, and you're treating them as the experts that they are in the systems at their school. And then at the end of that conversation, I say, thank you so much for taking the time. I know this is a busy time when you're trying to set up all your protocols, and I give them something to say thank you for spending the 10 to 15 minutes with me. And at this point, I would probably, it's Texas, it's hot. And so a Yeti cup that has a sticker with my center's name on it.
Oh, I love that idea. Those are really, really cool.
And then I would keep checking in. There are holidays that are specifically, related to office managers or Secretary's Day or whatever. So I, of course, would make sure that I took them a present the week before that day to say, I appreciate you every day. I know this day is coming up, but I just wanted to let you know that I and these 3 kids who come to this school who have also signed this card appreciate you even when it's not administrative assistance day. And having the kids sign the card has an amazing effect on their remembrance of the fact that you put this together. And if the kids made a bag of trail mix that goes with that card, then that office staff person is like, wow.
Well, and even more if that card is created by kids. I mean, I realize that this isn't really the topic for today, but I mean, I really do think it's important to have usable art. And so one of the things that I found makes great art projects for your school age kids are things that then become the art and thank you notes that you use. So even when you're sending thank you notes to people who have come in to visit your program, and yes, I am a big supporter of postcards and thank you notes that are handwritten to new people who check out your program. But, why spend the money? I mean, don't get me wrong. Carrie and I spend a lot of money with Vistaprint, but and I don't have a problem with that. But, you have all these kids doing art projects every single day. So give them some cardstock and then cut the cardstock to the sizes you need. I mean, nobody says that one piece of artwork has to be one card. It can be 5, 6, 12,
Yeah.
depending on what they're doing. And so I think that's really, really important. And of course, on the back, you write something, custom card created at ABC Childcare Center, your address, your website, phone number.
Yep.
So.
And I think another opportunity that doesn't feel forced for you to go in and talk to the office staff is when a kid that attends your after school program goes to their school and has to be picked up early. So they were in the office, right? So if the child went home sick or if they went home early because they had a dentist appointment or something like that, again, taking in a note and saying, I just wanted to say thank you so much for looking after Susanna until her mom got here to pick her up for her orthodontist appointment. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. And you give them, a bag full of lifesavers because she was a lifesaver. Those kinds of things it feels natural and unforced, and it doesn't feel like this person is being really salesy. It feels like you're appreciating their work.
You are. And so that's one of the things as a director you really need to do is establish relationships that are real and creating them with both natural partners and unnatural partners. And so in addition to the office staff, the people who I find as a really good connection that are important to have are the Parent Teachers Association. Definitely find out how you can help them. So do they have a problem with attendance? And do people use childcare as the reason why they can't come to a meeting? If you want both parents there, do you need to have somebody? So having, especially if you're close to the school, being able to offer that 1 hour and a half a night, one night a month for free for PTO or PTA members. Or you charge $5 and then all those little $5 go back as a fundraiser back to the program. A lot of times the PTOs sponsor events during the year. So again, trying to be part of those events, field day, ice cream night, whatever it might be. And again, in the beginning of the 2020 school year, after everything that's happened over the spring and the summer, we realized that some of these events may not happen or look the same way. But back to school nights, any of that stuff that you can be there as a community resource.
I mean, and even things like when they have those silent auctions that I hate going to, and that I don't particularly like contributing something to, but that is because I have a tendency to think it has to do with what I sell. I have to give them like a free month of tuition that people bid on. But I realized a few years ago that I don't have to give that. I could instead give, all the stuff for the parents to make slime with is something everybody does. But instead, how about if you had all the contents to make homemade Play-Doh and the, other activities that you do at your center with school-age kids. So maybe it's, a junior Picasso set and you give, all kinds of supplies for them to help their child channel their art because you do a lot of art in your school age program.
Well, the other thing you can do is thinking about how can you, if you've taken our director course, so if you've been at all involved with Learning Links and All Texas Director, you have heard us talk about understanding your advocacy passion. And so if you are passionate about youth in sports or youth fitness or bicycle helmets or any of that stuff, you can also tie those back in. Or if there is another community partner who you want to support. So it could be a family night. It could be pizza, popcorn, and a movie. So again, you could have a gift card from the local ice cream shop or the local pizza place. And so you could have a gift basket that's a family night in.
Yep.
And so I think that, there's definitely ways, and throw in a t-shirt and throw in some swag from your program. more and more people are using the custom stickers in addition to t-shirts or visors, or again, think about what might be something people might use. We know that people use, water bottles and Yetis way more than that plastic freebie bottle.
Yep.
It would be cheaper to go buy a Cricket and 5 really nice Yeti or the off-brand Yeti kind of mug, and do something kind of different, but you could always put like the school mascot on one side and maybe your school's mascot or information on the other side. So I've also seen programs really get excited about the relationship they have with their elementary school. And for example, if the elementary school was a bunch of white tigers, their pre-K classroom becomes the white cubs.
Yep.
And that they are, basically really working with the kindergarten teachers to prep the next level of white tiger. And so
I think something just popped into my head. Sorry to interrupt, but
that's okay.
I think one of the cutest things I've seen programs do is when there is a track and field day, or if they have a dance squad, or, there's some sort of performance at the elementary school, bringing your kids on a field trip that is really inexpensive to go have them be the cheer squad. Your 5-year-olds are going to get so excited about seeing all these kids running back and forth in the relay race. Or when they're doing, the 5th graders doing, again, I'm going to lean on my elementary school career here. And, the 5th grader, well, at our school, it was the 6th graders did a ballet folklorico dance demonstration, and a couple of other cultural dance demonstrations. So some people did Foursquare, and some people did polka, and some people did traditional West African dancing. So we had like these dance presentations at the end of the school year, and it would have been so cool as a 6th grader to have people losing their mind the way 4-year-olds do when a kid they know is performing. So I think that'd be really cool.
Well, it's funny. So even with that though, is being able to be the not that they don't usually have a trial run of a choir practice or something, but that might be. So I usually think just about having a relationship with the kindergarten teacher. But, if you think about specials and you think about the art classes, and especially music or theater or band or any of that stuff, which is great opportunities and great tie-ins to some of your middle schools. So why not have dress rehearsals in the middle of the day when you have class, right? And open it up to the 4-year-olds in the neighborhood. So definitely keep in mind that, it doesn't have to just be the kindergarten teacher that you have a relationship with. And that's where, but from a field trip standpoint is why perhaps getting to know your middle school and high schoolers is a great opportunity, because again, really easy field trips to go watch the 3rd grade choir performance or the 6th grade play that they're going to do in the fall and stuff like that.
Yeah. And the children at your center are going to be excited because this is, their big sister's friend, so there is that relationship within the community. So I think if you can create an actual symbiotic relationship, it can go further than the PTO and helping them with fundraising and helping them with childcare. It can go beyond being friends with the office staff. It can instead be, these kids, we are expecting to go to this elementary school, and so what are the values that this school has? You don't have to come up with your own values. You can just steal the ones from the elementary school.
Absolutely. They all have the character programs and stuff like that. And I think that the more in preschool you talk about what it's like to be a kindergartner, the more excited and attached to that school that they're going to feel. And I love the idea of field trips and maybe even days where they know that the kindergartners are going to be at. Like, another thing that might be really interesting to work with the school is when the kindergartners go on a field trip, your kids go on a field trip to the kindergarten classroom.
Yep.
And they get to go see what a kindergarten classroom looks like.
And you can also, on those teacher in-service days where the parents are like, I don't know what I'm going to do with the kids, say, even if you don't typically have a school age program, you could say, we'll take kindergartners on these 2 in-service days. And you only have to pay, $35, and they can be here all day. And what that is a field trip in, and your 3s and 4s and young 5s get to talk to that kindergartner and play with those kindergartners, and they can ask the questions about, is it true you can't take a nap? Or is it true you don't have to take a nap, depending on which preschooler it is, right? And I have this stuffed animal that I keep in my cubby here. Am I going to be able to take that to kindergarten? And all those anxiety questions. So I know that that I've seen that the big kids, they have pencil boxes. What if you lose your pencil box? Does that mean you don't get any more crayons? So they can ask those questions that they're worried about, but they're not going to ask their mom. They're not going to ask other adults, but they wouldn't have a problem asking that kindergartner who came in for the day.
Well, the other thing to think about is if you have siblings that struggle with that same day off, that in the class that are maybe even a little older, those kids can come in and be reading buddies or teachers' helpers for the day. I mean, what 3-year-old wouldn't love the 5th grade sibling of a 4-year-old to come and read stories to them that day? So again, it doesn't mean that you have to have a full-blown school-age program, but I'm also not talking about having 20 kids in. It's finding out what parents have that need and how can you help them and how can they help you. Maybe they're on the playground and helping you. You got to make sure that there's enough of an age difference that it works nicely. So, but if you've got kids who came to your program or who've always been at your program and now they may not have siblings, but they've just always been at your program in the summer.
So sort of a homecoming?
Yeah. So, when kids graduate high school, they always go back to maybe not this year. But in past years, they went back to their elementary school and walked the halls and stuff like that. I mean, there's no reason you can't do something very similar with the kindergartners and the 1st graders and the 2nd graders, but definitely the 5th graders, and have the little 5th graders come in and walk through their preschool, and especially if they've been there a long time, and encouraging these kids to be excited about the next step for them, which is going to be going to school.
Yeah, I think all of those things, and again, I'm looking a little bit through the COVID lens, right? So right. What can we do and what can we not do in the COVID times? But everything except for the going in and talking to the office staff, I think is very doable, even in a COVID times. And there will be a time when the office staff are in the office. I know in my region, we're not sure what day that will be, but there will be days before school opens to in-person learning when the office staff are there, and they have been on again, off again, anxious, since June, just like the parents have.
And in reality, this is a great opportunity, if your budget allows for it, for you to do something nice for the office staff who are there. And it could be something as simple as ordering a pizza. That's done as no touch, no contact. Or sending them a virtual gift card to Sonic to go get, 2:00, slushies for everybody or something like that. And all of those can be done electronically or via the mail. Because again, don't forget the value of a handwritten note. So sending a note to the office staff this week that just says, I know that your life has not gone as planned. Neither has mine, enjoy the 2 to 5 happy hour on ABC Childcare's dime, attached as a gift card to Sonic or whatever might be close to them or part of your community, and encourage them to go get a happy hour slushie, and that you're thinking of them, and do it as a handwritten note. In reality, you can write that note anytime. Nobody says you have to write it right then. You can write it in advance, put the stamp on it, and just know when you need to mail it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the PTOs and PTAs are going to have a much harder time in this school year than they have in many previous school years because we're in a recession. And so those things that they used to raise money for, they're going to be deciding what things are going to stay on the table and what things have to come off the table because it's a different financial situation. And so if you can come in with moral support, even if you can't come in with financial support, if you can come in and say, I will help you put together the descriptions of the things for, instead of us having the normal silent auction, you're going to do a virtual silent auction. Maybe you or one of your staff can have a flair for writing stuff up that is creative, and they can be the one who helps write the descriptions for that virtual silent auction. So even if you don't have the funds to donate, you do have some ability that you can donate to that organization to help them, to keep that relationship positive and supportive.
Absolutely. And so many people are doing things virtually right now, and there's a strong possibility that some of these parent-teacher meetings will continue that way. Jump in on them, be a part of them, learn what the community's doing, become a friend of the school. So, some school districts, some Chamber of Commerces still have, basically community and school partnerships. Not every chamber has those, but that's a great opportunity to be involved as well. So find out if your Chamber of Commerce does anything with the schools or the school district. See if any of those match your goals and beliefs. If you have something that you advocate for, and maybe it's no kid hungry, no kid has a hungry weekend. If there's a backpack program that's currently available at the elementary school, if you know that some of those families are also families in your school, there might be a way to extend that, or add a preschool buddy pack or something, so that, that kid goes home with food for the weekend. They may or may not know that kid's got 2 or 3 siblings at home. So definitely, establishing those community-wide relationships is going to help your bottom line as a business, and definitely even your bottom line as a person.
Yeah. So I hope this has been helpful. And if it has, please share it with other people in your program and with other programs in your area. Post about it on social media. We are waiting with bated breath for our first review on iTunes. So if you are that first person and you email us a screen capture of that first thing, then I'm sure I can come up with a wonderful present to send you. So go ahead and send that screen capture to hello@Colorful Clipboard and,
.com.
Let's go with an Amazon gift card.
Absolutely. And at some point in time, I realize that you guys have probably listened to our monkey workshops. When the world gets a little bit back to normal, we're going to have all kinds of monkeys to be sending to people. And so we get really excited. But you only get a monkey if you do a review. So not my monkey, it's yours. So on that note,
we'll see you next week and have a great one. Thank you for listening to Colorful Clipboards. Connect with us on social media @Colorful Clipboard, or send us an email to hello@colorfulclipboards.
Send us your voicemail with your own questions and stories. If you want to keep learning with us, visit Texas Director, where we continue to have seminars, licensing, programs, and more.
This show has been made by me, Carrie Casey, and Kate Young, with assistance from Hallie Casey and Marie Young. If you learned something today, share the show.